Good afternoon, sir. So in your presentation, you talked about self-plagiarism, and so I wanted to know that if you're right, if we're into reference, if we're creating a reference book, and we already have like good amount of papers, and we want to use those as a base for writing because your domain is very centric. So then can we cite like take up work from the journal that is like a personal journal like my own journal? Can I use that exact content, or do I have to modify that and then cite that, and how do we go about that, sir?
So I would say that in case of figures, you have to take copyright permission, number one. But as you are the author of that very paper, so there is no limit. There is no limit of those three figures which we discussed. So you can take as many figures as from it. And regarding the text, it's always advisable to reframe it, but reframe it. And then of course there are certain things which you want to use verbatim as it is, so that's fine, you can use it. But for all things you have to take permission. And if especially if you're author, there is no problem in when you get permissions. See, the plagiarism issue only arrives only comes out when there is a sort of unmentioned, means there is a mention of certain thing without any proper reference. That's what you call plagiarism. Sometimes, see, uh, if in plagiarism report comes that uh, Bhavna has copied this thing from this thing, so that is a particular software that goes as per the algorithm. You say he has copied, but then you will have a thing to show that, see, it is copied, but I have a copyright permission for that thing. So that resolves the issues. So you can use, so when I use the word self plagiarism, it means you are plagiarizing yourself, you are using your own material without reference, without giving appropriate reference to it. But if you are giving appropriate reference, you are reframing it, you have copyright permissions, then none of it arrives.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Very good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if I want to invite some contributors for my new book, then how can I be assured that contributors will respect copyright rules, sir?
Yes, so that's a good question. What happens that when every contributor sends you a chapter, or as an author you send your chapter, we ask
Yes.
every author and contributor to complete a permission verification form, in which there is a form in which they will list out the figures or graphs which they have taken from the third party sources, and whether they have taken permission or not, and they will duly sign it. The contributing author will duly sign it. So that's a sort of surety we take from all the contributors. So that will ensure you, if they deliberately conceal the information, later on if some issue comes, then there will be uh, no responsibility of the editor, because they have given a signed undertaking that they have taken permission from this. So that's how we ensure ourselves that they are giving us uh, uh, the material in a proper format and properly, per, permitted format, I would say. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you for the information.
Sir, Bhavna, once again, I wanted to know, sir, could you please elaborate upon what is the appropriate number of chapters that should be present in an edited book?
It depends upon the topic to topic. Suppose, see, nowadays, I recently did uh, a polymer handbook in which there were about 18 chapters in a book. We did a book on signal processing, so there were 10 chapters in a book. So it depends upon how big you want to take it. But I would encourage, not don't go more than 300 pages.